Hey there, everybody. Welcome back. And it's Nikki again. After last week's episode, I just wanted to first start off by saying how humbling it is to receive all of the messages. I've received quite a few personal messages and emails, and I'm super humbled if something that I said resonated with you and touched you in a way that made you feel stronger and more worthy of yourself and more capable in some way. So thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you for engaging and being brave to send out the messages that you've sent. I love you and I appreciate you deeply for doing so. In trying to decide on this week's topic, the only thing that kept coming back to me and resonating was wanting to just share a little bit about this thing called vulnerability. And please know that for me, learning to be comfortable in a space of being vulnerable has been a very, very long process with a staircase that has felt like there's never been a top. And I still feel that way. It's always still kind of a work in progress, but I remember the very first time that this topic was presented to me by my therapist, and he had recommended that I take a look at Brené Brown's Power of Vulnerability. And this is by no means, like, I'm not sponsored by her. I am not associated with her. I'm not trying to sell her work. But that audiobook, I actually listened to the audiobook, and then I've bought the book, listened to it multiple times, still refer back to it very frequently, has been life-changing for understanding my own personal battle with trust issues, being vulnerable, and what that entails and what that looks like. And what I've gathered and what I've learned in my own experience thus far is we're taught as a culture that if you're vulnerable, it's seen as weak. You're seen as weak and incapable and unworthy if you're in a space of vulnerability. When in reality, it is completely freaking opposite of that. There are, of course, parameters to understanding when to be vulnerable and choosing that very carefully, in addition to who you choose to share that kind of vulnerability with and at what level. But it absolutely applies to everything we do every single day, whether it's being vulnerable with your spouse or your family, the people closest to you, or being vulnerable in a place of work or professionalism. And it can be as simple as sharing a story that you may not feel is necessarily the place of being vulnerable, but it is. Anytime that you're stepping into a place where you're sharing something personable, or asking for a raise at work, or asking for support on the next steps in career development, or talking to your partner about some conflict, or sharing some really deep trauma of your own that you're trying to work through. Those are all different levels of vulnerability, but they all take courage. And in finding the courage to share and work through those things with the people that are worthy of being a part of that stage with you is a process that makes you stronger, that makes you more fulfilled, that makes you grow, and is, in my experience, it is life-changing. It changes your capacity to look in the mirror and feel worthy of yourself. changes your capacity to feel confident in the things that you do. It gives you something that you absolutely have the control and power over, because you get to know yourself better. You get to know the people that are closest to you better, and who those people really are that are worthy of knowing you at that level. And it's a really powerful step in your own personal self-growth. If you haven't read The Power of Vulnerability or listened to it by Brené Brown, I highly recommend it. Get it, add it to your bookshelf, add it to your Audible, whatever, wherever you access things, and listen to it and read it with an open heart and an open mind. It's life-changing, and I can't speak to it the way that she does. I just can share that my experiences with working through therapy, working through some of my own past, and trying to understand my own deficits and things that I've wanted to grow and become better at, that has been one of the foundational pieces. It's learning to be vulnerable, learning to trust, learning to be brave, and doing it in a very calculated and controlled way so that you're able to see the benefits of doing so. So take a listen to that. Practice being vulnerable. It's really hard, but it's so amazing and so powerful. And it connects back to last week where I was saying, having a mindset that projects you forward into the things that you're passionate about and that matter and that help you grow as a person every day. Being vulnerable is a piece of that. And it happens in a lot of different levels and on a lot of different ways. But it is so worth it when you do it in the right way. And again, if you're wanting to be vulnerable for some reason or another and just need a listening ear or a perspective, I'm here. I will continue to be, and I appreciate you taking the time this week again to listen, and have a great week. Go out and kick some ass. Thanks, y'all.